Welcome to Kaks Bar and Podcast, Canada's first podcast bar. What that means is you can come here for food, you can come here for drinks, you can also come here and record a podcast. Come on down, we're located in downtown Calgary, Alberta in the Beltline area. See you soon. And we're rolling. I'm here today with Eman. Is that how I pronounce your name?
Eman, yes.
Eman, okay. Eman, what's Eman? What's Eman? Okay.
Eman.
Eman, okay.
Yes.
You know what's funny is our chef's name. Chef here is Emmanuel, and we all call him Eman, right?
Oh,
so like I've never like the other day when I was explaining to him who you were coming on, he was like, oh, like she has my exact name, and I was like, well, his is a nickname, Eman, right? Because it's playing off Emmanuel, but yours is just like Eman.
Yeah. So my name is actually an Arabic name. So Eman means faith in Arabic. Yeah. So yeah, that's where my name comes from.
Okay. Yeah. And I was noticing on your Instagram, you're half Chinese too.
I am. Yeah.
Half Chinese, half Arabic.
Yeah. So half Egyptian, half Chinese.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Perfect. The mom or the dad is which one?
So my mom is Chinese and my dad is Egyptian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Nice. What's your last name then?
My last name? You want the English version or the Arabic version?
Well, I guess the one on your passport again.
The one on my passport. Yeah. So to pronounce in English is AboEl-Seoud.
AboEl-Seoud.
Yeah,
okay.
AboEl-Seoud.
AboEl-Seoud.
Yeah.
Okay.
Close enough. Okay. But in Arabic, it's AboEl-Seoud.
Okay.
Yeah, because like Abu is like, almost like the father of, and then As-Saud is like happiness basically. So my last name basically means the father of happiness.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. You're from Canada, right? Or...
Yeah, I was born here.
Okay.
Fortunately, unfortunately.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, like, obviously growing up mixed, it was definitely one of those things where, like, I really had to find my way.
Yeah.
Like, I had to basically battle myself internally between, like, 3 different cultures because I grew up mostly with the Chinese side because the Egyptian side of my family doesn't live here. They're back in Egypt.
Right.
And every single time we tried to go to Egypt, something happened. Like, the very first time, the revolution happened in Egypt, so we couldn't go. And then the second time we tried to go, COVID happened.
Oh God.
So we're hoping to go, soon, but that's the thing. Like, I don't know my Egyptian side of the family. I've spoken to them here and there over the phone, but I didn't grow up with them. So, like, I was raised Muslim. So that came from my dad's side. And then as I grew up, I spent a lot of time with my mom's side of the family. So
maybe personal question. Are your parents they're not together?
No, they are. They are.
Okay,
but like just growing up, with my cousins and everything, you know what I mean? I spent a lot more time with my Chinese side because my relatives are here.
Right.
And then in the meantime, I went to school in Okotoks. If you don't know where that, do you know where that is?
Okotoks.
Yeah, like a small little town.
I'm born and raised in Calgary, so yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I know
So
Okotoks,
I basically was growing up in Okotoks from like kindergarten to grade 12. There was 1 year that I went to Calgary, but it didn't really do much for me. And Okotoks, it's not.
It's very white.
It is.
yeah.
For the most part, like you don't really find too many. It's not diverse. You see what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, it's whatever you call it. Within Alberta, it's not within the main city. So when you go in those areas, but I think it's changing now. Just globally, anyway. Like it's like places becoming more multicultural, and most places anyway. I mean, there's still some places like completely set in their ways. Like Middle America is still pretty damn white.
Honestly, like I agree. The thing is, like my little sister, she spent 1 year in high school in Okotoks, and I went to the same high school, like Foothills Composite.
Yeah.
And she spent 1 year there, and she's telling me that it's quite diverse. Like there's different people from different places, and I'm telling her, I was like, when I was there, like I was like one of like 5 or 6 people out of a class of like maybe like 200 to 300 students graduating.
Yeah,
I was just very happy that I got to go first. I walked the stage first, and I called it a day. I was like, okay, goodbye.
Did you experience negative?
Absolutely.
Racism and things like that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Like
I'm mixed.
Yeah.
And I'm Muslim.
Yeah.
and I'm visibly not white.
Yeah,
See what I like? I'm a visible minority.
Yeah.
And I'm a woman. So
yeah, you're
it's like you literally get hit like how many times? Like it's crazy.
Check mark all of the uphill battles.
Yeah, literally. Like I crossed all of them. If there was a checklist for it,
yeah,
I got it.
Yeah. Is that okay, so diving a bit into your Instagram, I was noticing you're an entrepreneur. Eman's an entrepreneur, by the way. And what's the short? Give the audience like the short version of what you do as an entrepreneur. Like
of what I do?
Yeah, exactly. You basically do investing, right?
I do, but I like to, like, in a nutshell, I help other people make money.
You help other people.
That's literally it. Like, I turn people into business owners.
Okay.
So I am huge into like promoting and helping people like go after their dreams, and especially like come into the business with me and work with me, because the thing is, like, I really have a bone to pick. With our governments, with our educational, institutions, like I have a bone to pick with all of them. Because the thing is, like, and I know it definitely has a lot to do with like my own experiences, because like I got a BA in law and society at UFC. Okay. And, my whole plan was to become a lawyer. Initially I wanted to become a plastic surgeon, but like I took one look at the medical school exam, like study books, and I was like, absolutely not. Like, there's no way I'm doing this.
Okay.
So then, like, I wanted to be a lawyer. And the thing is, like, my BA was very focused on the legal foundations of our society in Canada, and then how that basically transfers into everything that we know about society today, and what has occurred in the past to make our society how it is today. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
So that being said, my degree is utterly useless unless I go and get, another degree on top of that. Right. Like, my degree, literally, like, I remember, like, I'm in my third year. And the thing is, like, my degree was 4 years. I finished it in 3. So my third year, my last year, I remember looking at the university website to see, like, what my degree is used for, or, like, what jobs you can get with my degree. And it's like police officer. I could be a teacher. I can like I'm looking at all this stuff. I could be a security guard. I'm like, I didn't have to spend 40 grand and 3 years of my life to become these things.
Yeah.
Are you joking?
You didn't realize that going in?
No. Oh. Because the thing is, like, I remember the reason why I picked that program was because we had one of those stupid, like, fairs. You know how they bring like a bunch of universities with their stupid little stands, and they come to the schools and they try to like sell you on coming to their university. That's literally what happened at my high school. And I remember looking through their programs, and at first, because I wanted to be a plastic surgeon, I saw health and society. Thank God I didn't choose that, because at least with law and society, I can understand. But like I remember first seeing health and society, and I wanted to take that because, like, I don't know why, I just had a really strong interest in like our society for some reason, because like nothing made sense to me, and the way that I was growing up too begged a lot of questions, because I didn't get it. I didn't understand why my parents raised me in a certain way while everything else around me is like trying to push me away from that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, depending on what you meant by raised a certain way. Like, why did they have more conservative values at home, or was it okay? So and I was getting you to explain like who you were, because I was going to segue from what you're explaining your experiences in whatever growing up in Okotoks, right, and how it kind of made you. Because you're all about empowering yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly. And that must have come from essentially some, I don't want to use the word trauma or whatever. You just saw it. You were just placed with a lot of uphill battles off the jump, and your surroundings were not exactly in your favor. For the most part. So then it seems like that might have, like, whatever, I'm being a little psychologist now, but it's like maybe that's helped sculpt you into your mentality now, which is
I low-key feel like I'm in therapy. I'm not gonna lie. We're dissecting my past. I'm like, so this is why I am the way that I am.
I guess, I don't know.
Just been traumatized as a kid, so here I am trying to help other people. But
I can relate to you. I mean, like, I'm a Canadian, like, I'm Canadian born just like you, but like I was like a skinny little Asian kid growing up when. And there was like definitely a lot of kids could be mean. I mean, in one of my last podcasts, I made some funny clips from. You should check it out later, but it's about like childhood racism. But anyway, I can relate to you as well, because I have a BA from UFC as well, like in communication culture. But I got into that knowing that it majors in unemployment.
It majors in unemployment. I love it.
Yes, but I had a different trajectory because I was told, get your degree by everyone around me, then go get something related to oil and gas. So go back to SAIT or Mount Royal, but get like a certificate or something specializing in something that they do in oil and gas, whether it's surface land, production accounting, maybe like a real like supply chain management.
Because but that doesn't even make sense, because it's like, well, why not just do that from the get-go?
Exactly. So no, I had all these same questions, Eman. Yeah, like I literally remember as I was trying to finish high school, and like I honestly thought I was going to be whatever, a professional fighter or a professional basketball player. I thought it was going to be one of those two things, and reality set in. Although I was decent at both, I wasn't. I'm not going to be playing against LeBron James.
I mean, hey, like anything's possible. Like you could literally do whatever you want at any given point. I'm just saying.
Yeah, with a tremendous amount of work and time and obstacles to overcome. But you're right. But like nothing's out of the realm of possibility. I mean, Muggsy Bogues was only 5'3" and he was in the NBA. But all I'm trying to say was, I knew that too going in, that you don't need the degree for what you think it is. Because back in the day, school was designed to actually be a place where people grow their minds, right? Now it's turned, well, not now, ever since I was a kid, it's become in this town just like a character test, if you will. Can you handle 4 years of this and that, but while supporting a business, which is university?
Yeah.
But but I mean, I already knew what I was getting into was not going to get me a job per se. And then I finished that and went into SAIT and got my surface land and worked in an oil company because we live in Calgary. So I was always like explained, unless you know exactly what you're trying to do, more than likely you want to join the energy industry. That's our bread and butter. So
yeah, now look at us.
yeah, I guess. But
they literally pulled an Uno reverse card on all of us. Like, what is this? Like, I don't understand anything. Like, because here's the thing. Okay, I'm gonna tell you exactly how I see our education system. Okay, because education, especially back in the day, used to only be reserved for super rich families, the 1%. Okay, and knowledge was passed down through the family.
When you're saying that, what you're talking about, like universities in North America or Europe, or
I'm talking about in general.
Okay.
Like generally speaking, education was a very highly regarded thing that was passed down through generations of family members. You see what I mean? Like, and it was usually kept within the family. Like, that's how we have all these secret societies and everything like that. Eventually, education did become available to the public, but as a business model. You see what I mean? A lot of the education that was provided, because don't get me wrong, like we obviously need a certain level of education to have a certain career in very specific professions like accounting, engineering. Want to be a doctor, a lawyer, whatever. You see what I mean? Like, of course, there's certain prerequisites that you have to meet. However, I have a bone to pick with the institutions providing additional types of degrees per se that are absolutely useless.
It's literally just to fill up a business.
Exactly. It's for business purposes, and at the same time, it's like they sell it to you as a way for you to figure out who you are. Bitch, I don't need to spend $40,000 to figure out who I am and not get anything out of it. Are you joking? You see what I mean? So that's where I get so angry about it. But at the same time, I'm very grateful for what happened to me, because my journey pushed me to find another way. You see what I mean? Because especially when COVID happened, I couldn't find a job. I couldn't find any jobs like anywhere. And at the time, I already finished my first year university. So for that summer, I was just trying to find like anything. And because of COVID, I just couldn't. And, my degree wasn't giving me very many options to like volunteer or anything like that.
Eman, so you're 21 years old right now.
I am.
Okay, so you that talk about the university, like you basically just went through it.
Yeah, I graduated early though, because I just really overwhelmed myself with spring and summer courses because I wanted to finish quickly, and I knew university just wasn't for me. Like, as I went through my process, as I tried to get into law school, like I really put 110% in, and eventually I came to the realization that it just wasn't in line with what I wanted out of life. Like, I always knew that I wanted to be of a certain level, but I also wanted to be of a certain control. I've never like even just growing up, I had a really hard time listening to other people.
Mhm.
I would fight with teachers all the time because like, who are you to tell me that the way that I think is wrong or that I can't do something I want to do? You see what I mean? Like I always had, especially teachers, like, you know, as a kid, you know, you tell them your biggest aspirations and they want to go ahead and tell you like, oh, be realistic. My reality is my reality, yours is yours. You see what I mean? Like your reality doesn't dictate mine. And I've actually had, you know, especially when you dream so big and you work towards really big goals all the time and you know what's possible.
Mhm.
When you come across, you know, people that tend to be a lot more small-minded, like it's actually so interesting to hear, like some like majority of the time you don't even listen to what they have to say because it's just noise, right? But if you do, you know, just for the sake of it, it's very interesting to see how majority of the people, they think that their reality is the reality.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, most people aren't actually they're not, I don't want to use the word empathy, but self-awareness is actually kind of limited until they go through more things. Yeah, but other people mature at a different rate too, right? Because everyone's motivated by different things. But carry on. Yeah, sorry.
Oh yeah, no, but that's the thing. Like for the most part, like I've had people over the years literally tell me that eventually reality is going to hit me in the face. Eventually, like I'm going to come back to this earth and realize that, you know, my head's in the clouds. I've constantly had people telling me that over and over again.
Who are these people in your life? Like who are
honestly,
they? Like
for the most,
teachers,
friends? Well, they're
like...
obviously not in my life anymore. Yeah. But you know, throughout the years, like sometimes they were teachers. At one point, they were my parents. Definitely heard it from like old friends that I no longer am friends with. You see what I mean? Because like the thing is, when you know better, the second you hear it, you know that it's time to cut that person loose. You can try to talk to them. I've tried, but sometimes they're willing to support you, sometimes they're not. And, you know, thank God for my parents. They started to support me when I had something to show for it. When I actually started showing them, you know, what I was making, when I was actually showing them what I was doing, how I was helping people. That's when they started to believe in me, because when I told them that I don't want to go to law school anymore, like my dad tried to get me to go back into medical, and I was like, absolutely not. Like you're gonna have to drag me to the school and like you're gonna have to find some way to literally chain me to the desk to write the MCAT, because there's no way that I'm gonna do any of this.
No, I absolutely understand what you're saying, and majority of people are actually in that situation, because most people, they don't want to take risks. They don't risks are risk. Like there's consequences for failing. There is. It's not just on you, it's like the people you affect, right? Like say I don't know, like you I'm going to take a risk, like starting a business, but say it's with other people's money, right? Like that's like, of course. Like that's why they don't want to take that risk, because that pressure. But at the same time, anything that's ever been accomplished in life has been done by risk takers. Absolutely. But again, those are the ones who succeeded, though. So most people are ruled by fear because of the consequences of failure. Now, you know, like that's one thing I have a bone to pick with all these self-help people. They're always like, oh, you know, you don't make that mistake, then you know, you never learn or whatever. It's like, okay, easy, bro. Like, be more specific. Like, are you talking about if tomorrow I took that risk to go be a pro fighter and trained, right? I'm only affecting essentially myself. But if you're talking about risk as in, I don't know, like just what I said 2 seconds ago, starting business with other people's money or something like that, and it's like a dumb idea or something, like
there's other things you have to consider.
Yeah, you have to, and then, or like someone saying, you know what, I gotta go take that risk and pursue that dream, but it's after he had already impregnated his girlfriend at a young age, and now he's a daughter that he's abandoning, and so I mean that but most people are ruled by that, and that's why they just say they say that thing that all these people in your life said to you, like, hey, don't do that, because more than likely they either want to see that you're doing something that has more of a guaranteed return in success, what they deem as success, or they don't want to see you go to the sky because they're too scared to go to the sky. Of course. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's actually very interesting that we're having this conversation, because I swear I touched on this in my most recent podcast. Okay. It's actually like, it's something
that has a podcast, by the way. Yeah. I'm gonna put that on the show notes there. Real Talk with Eman.
Real Talk with Eman. Available on
Spotify
and
yep.
Apple
Spotify and
Podcasts.
Apple.
But
This is your first video podcast you ever did in a way?
I used to do video podcasts before with like a friend of mine, but we ended up stopping that just because, you know, priorities changed. So I've definitely done video podcasts before, but like not outside of like, you know, my best friend.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So this is like my first, you know, actually being a guest on somebody else's.
Yeah.
But
hey, we're honored to have you.
Yeah. No, thank you for having me. But yeah, I think for the most part, honestly, I believe 100% in my heart that people who hate on others or people that try to diminish others, they are insecure in themselves. Absolutely. Yeah. Because if you feel the need to bring somebody else down over something that, one, you've never tried before, so you have no idea what you're even talking about. You just feel the need to be negative for God knows whatever reason. If it makes you feel better as a person, if they don't do it, because that means in some way, in like one way or another, you feel like if they don't do it, then they're still below you somehow, which I think is one of the most insecure, borderline retarded things to think, because it's like there's 8 billion people in this world. You're really that threatened by somebody that you so-and-so called, like somebody that you know, somebody you care about, whatever. You're really that threatened by them that you would rather, like, to me, I think it's actually quite insidious, because for you to really break down somebody like that, and people don't realize how strong words really have an impact. Like, even as something as little as like, oh, are you sure? Like, are you, like, something as little as like, oh, I don't think you can do it, or you're not experienced enough to do this. You see what I mean? But it's coming from somebody that has ill intentions. It's not coming from somebody who's ahead of you in the path, that is seeing what you're doing, that is advising you, that is critiquing you. It's a big difference between mentorship and actually haters, because haters aren't mentoring you. They're quite literally trying to push you down in the most familiar way possible, so it doesn't look that way to you, but subconsciously you feel it, and it messes with you. It fucks up your process, because at the times where things aren't working, that little voice is going to echo in your head. And even if it's not from that person, it's going to echo as if it's coming from you. Like, oh, like, am I really able to do this?
Oh, the self-doubt.
Yeah, the self-doubt, because it will first be implanted by somebody else saying it, but then when it comes back out to you, it will be you saying that to yourself. Does that make sense? It kind of flows.
It's only if you accepted that as a potential reality.
Of course.
Yeah. I guess, like,
this can definitely be something that you subconsciously tell yourself. You see what I mean? But your brain, when your brain attaches itself to stuff like this, it could very easily bring it up as your own thing.
Most people probably have succumbed to this mind game, and that's why they're not pursuing anything of meaning.
Absolutely.
But I mean, we you know, because you and I are entrepreneurs and we're pursuing our passions. I mean, I don't know how far along you are with like where your trajectory is right now, you know. But obviously, like, my partner and I, this is the first podcast bar in Canada, maybe even North America, and dare I say, maybe even the world. The more I think about it, I've had people talking to me like all the time right now, every day. Like, I've never heard of this concept. I live in LA. I'm in Europe. Like, I'm in Dublin. Like, no one has this. And so me and my partner are proud. Like, and there's already copycats, which is flattering, which is good because, like, we can collab off of them anyway. You know, but I mean, like, we're the first. Whether you guys want to admit it or not.
Like, it's admirable. Like, congratulations.
Yeah,
absolutely
thank you.
Amazing. And I love the place.
But the amount of like risk we're taking on right now is pretty heavy. You know what I mean?
Of
like,
course.
it's like, like, it's
a lot of overhead.
Yeah, a lot of overhead. And, you know, my partner and I, you know, like, we're not backed by Concord or nothing. Like, we're true startup, you know. Exactly. So I remember, I know what you're saying, because I had tremendous amounts of hate, like, leading into this. Loads of people I know who I thought would be supportive were the ones saying, like, hey man, like, you know, it's a dumb idea, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, oh, okay.
God.
Yeah. Like, bye, you know.
It's like pissing me off thinking about it.
Oh yeah, or like, and then that same people, as we're starting to get going, they're like, "Hey, this is a great idea." And then, you know, I'm sitting there thinking, like, do you have amnesia? Like, you do not even remember what you said 2 seconds ago. But that's when I realized people's emotions are fickle.
Oh,
like,
of course.
like 1 minute, and we're the same way. Like, I 1 minute, I remember I hated Kobe Bryant when he first played basketball.
Yeah.
I did not. I just thought he was such a. I'm like, you're literally trying to be Michael Jordan, you know, and Michael Jordan's like literally the best basketball player of all time. But then I was fickle. The more I watched Kobe play, the more all of a sudden I'm like, I like Kobe. And then next thing you know, I'm like, I love Kobe. Next thing you know, no, I can't get enough of Kobe. And now I'm like, man, Kobe's nothing like Jordan. They're like, you know, so then I watched myself. I'm like, man, like, I really didn't like Kobe at first, but what made it change So I don't hold it like I don't have to like ostracize these people for their opinions on like,
No, of course.
but
You
like
just
I'm
gotta watch
understanding.
yourself. You
You're
see
right.
what I
I
mean?
just gotta make sure
Because
I'm not doing that.
yeah,
I'm not being whatever, a hater
exactly.
or in some ways, which I'm
Absolutely.
really not, because I don't know about you, but I'm pretty fucking busy all the time. I don't have time. I really
Exactly.
don't have time to really think. I'm just doing and like juggling everything in a day and trying to get sleep. Like, so
Yeah.
I think most people need to just
Go
get
do
more
something.
busy.
Go do
Go get
something.
extremely busy and productive. And trust me, that will negate half of your problems.
Yeah.
Like that jealousy feeling. There's really no time for it when you're
Exactly.
all immersed. Do you have time to be hating on someone when you're actually like, well, wait a minute, if I don't solve this next issue tomorrow, I might not pay that next bill. Like, that's more important than sitting around like,
Absolutely. And the thing is, you know what? Like, because the thing is, like I said, like, I help people start businesses literally for a living. And I guide them through that process because, like, for me, I had to figure it out by myself. I had to be the one to pick myself up all the time. Honestly, like, the one thing that constantly kept me going, because, like, I used to play hockey when I was younger, and I played hockey for 12 years.
Oh, nice.
So sports really bring out that discipline in you because it forces you to pick yourself up every single time you fall, and it pushes you to keep going. And sports, especially physical sports, like, they're physically painful. You know what I mean? So to actually endure physical pain and get yourself to like and constantly fall and pick yourself up and do that over and over and over again, mentally speaking, it's not that far off. So like the thing is, I always tell anybody who I like talk to ever, or even like mentor, in the sense that when you are starting on this path to entrepreneurial or once you're starting on this path, like this entrepreneurial path, you have to know when to shut the negativity out, and you need to know what is actually, like, you need to know who's worth listening to, because you can't just be in your own little bubble and think you got it all figured out. You're not going to grow. You eventually do have to utilize other resources. You're going to have to utilize other people who are smarter than you, who are ahead of you, who have done what you're doing, and who are successful in it. Eventually, you're going to have to do all these things. And that's why I always tell them, don't suffer in silence. I'm here. I've been through it. I've done it. Tell me when you have a problem, because sometimes, like, I won't hear anything from somebody for a little while. I check in on them. I ask them, how's it going? They tell me, oh, everything is shit. They're not happy. Like, they don't know what to do. And I'm like, when did this start? They tell me it happened weeks ago. I'm like, okay, so why am I only knowing about it now? And I'm the one who had to take it out. Like, I'm the one who had to get it out of you. Why didn't you come to me? Because we could have figured out a way to fix it. But the thing is, I start to realize about people, especially, I'm so egotistic, especially, like, not even egotistic in the sense of like just business, but in general. People would much rather suffer in silence and think that they have it all figured out.
Yeah, pride's a motherfucker, for
exactly.
Sure.
And it sucks because it's such a it's such a small thing. You just kick it out of the way and you literally have the whole world at your fingertips.
Can you dive more into this one? Like, without obviously oversharing or sharing your clients, can you give me an example of what their business was? How do you help them start? Where they fell off the rails? Like, lately I've been doing a lot of podcasts, and I'm diving more into specifics now, because I realize there's a lot of broad statements made by people who are already done something per se. Even what I said just now was super broad, but it's like, I think dial into an example, like, and then breaking it apart will be more beneficial to listeners and things. Because I hate when I hear like you got Jordan Peterson, and I love Jordan Peterson, don't get me wrong. A lot of people hate him. Hey, that's your guys' opinion. I think he's great. But a lot of what he says is so broad, where I'm like, hey, Jordan, if you just give it in the form of an actual example, then I feel like you can process that information and lesson better. But in your case, what was this? As an example, what was this business that you help your friends start, or help your clients start?
So I'll give you an example, okay? Because the thing is, like, I basically have two different businesses in a sense. Okay, so I have my marketing agency where I help other business owners. I help them with web design, content creation. I do their marketing strategy. I run their ads. I do all that type of stuff. Like, we have a goal in mind, however much revenue that they want to make, how many clients they want to get, and then we work backwards from there. So
what are some of the businesses that utilize your marketing? Is it like restaurants? Is it like clothing? Like, It's all over?
It's a mix.
Okay.
So I've definitely worked with a lot of restaurants, shisha bars, some fashion brands. I've been working a lot with Medi Spas currently, especially, like laser aesthetics,
Oh,
that
okay,
type of
okay,
stuff.
yeah.
So a lot of cosmetics.
That's called
I've been,
Medi Spas?
yeah,
I've never heard that term. Sorry.
Medi Spa.
Yeah.
It's or like an aesthetic clinic.
Okay.
There's so many different names for it, but
Okay.
it's like for the most part, it is let's just say beauty industry.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay, so
Estheticians.
yeah, for the most part. So that's the thing. Like I touch on all of these different areas because, like, over the years, especially with me networking and everything, like I was able to basically build a network of business owners and learn from them individually. And then as I started to, of course, increase my skill and get to the point where like I can actually produce results, I might as well monetize it. And I know, like, obviously, of course, I wanted to help business owners and, help the people around me that were also business owners as well. So, when I first started, it was kind of me doing their stuff for free, showing them results first before I started charging them, and then it kind of just like moved from there.
I feel like it does need to be like that, especially in the internet
when you
game.
First start, of course,
because otherwise
you need something to show for.
Yeah, because otherwise people are. Example. Some people are, they're like, okay, it's going to be $2,000 for a reel, and I'm kind of like, okay, like what? But how do I gauge the ROI? Right, like. It would have to be okay.
Like, show me what you can do. Like, show me why it's worth $2,000.
Yeah, exactly. Well, some of these people were like, "Well, take a look at who I do reels for," and then I'm like, I'm like, okay, great. These are all very established clientele that obviously have the cash flow to pay $2,000 for a reel. But reality is like, to help a true startup. In case of us, it's like, wouldn't you have to do the reel for free first and see if that actually got 3,000 views, and then of those 3,000, can we gauge that 100 new guests came in and spent $30 a check on food, drinks, and you know what I mean? It would have to be something like that, and then before we start to pay you, because otherwise, what if I throw that money at you? You do the reel and like nothing happened.
So here's the thing. I actually disagree with that, only because like when I say do it for free first, that's like me like at the very beginning. You see what I mean? Like I didn't have anything under my portfolio. That's why I did free work, because when you do free work and then you're able to gain results, because I had myself as a test monkey. I was starting my own e-commerce brands. I had a clothing brand. I was like doing so many different things online that allow me to advance my skill to that level where like now I can actually offer it as a service.
Right.
So once I was able to prove to myself that I can get results, that's when I started, utilizing my network, saying like, hey, I just started this new thing. Do you mind if I, try, helping you out for free or for, super low price? Let me see if I can, obviously, give you results. And if it works, then we can, look at something more permanent. And then, as I, started to learn from other people and, eventually, actually before I started my, because my marketing agency took some time to obviously like get up on its feet. And at one point I did work at a marketing agency and I learned a lot while I was there. And that's when it started to make me realize that like, if I were to charge a certain amount, like this is what my competitors are charging. You see what I mean? And I didn't have the marketing agency before I was actually working at the marketing company, so it wasn't a conflict of interest. But it was like after the fact where I was like, you know what? Like, of course I can charge this much for that because my work is worth that. And the results that I was able to get later on, like that's what made me increase my prices later on. So when you work with clients as a marketing agency after you're established, now you have history, now you have track record, now you have something to show for. When you're working with new clients, you show them what you've done. And not even just like, it's not like you're showing them like everything, but you're showing them what you've done in their niche that has helped others and how this can help you. Because at the end of the day, marketing is it's needed in every single industry. Like you have to have marketing,
Life
especially
is marketing.
It is literally
Everything's
like
selling something.
Everything is marketing. And especially in the online world, you want to utilize that to your like absolute full potential because you are able to reach people that you otherwise might not be able to reach just through word of mouth. You see what I mean? Like it extends your reach so significantly, and it is done so in a very intense way that like you just the type of results that you can get, like it's limitless. You see what I mean? So that's why free work at the very beginning, when you start anything new, service-based, when you start a service brand new, you have no, like, you're just looking for clients, you're looking to start up and everything. In some industries, offering a free service here and there just to get yourself, some clients, some people on your portfolio, something to really show for when now you're confident in your abilities. Confidence comes from the ability to produce results. That's where real confidence comes from, because anybody can talk, anybody can say that like they can do this, they can do that, whatever. But how many can actually do what they're talking about?
And to piggyback off that, first of all, I actually fully agree with you. Yeah, absolutely. And this example I was using was, just more or less, those people were at the beginning of that's why that's what I meant, because it was the pros that have been established that were explaining like it's going to be $2,000 to $3,000 for real, and then I was sitting there like, I was like, that's steep to me. They're like, well, that's not steep to the people I've done it for already. And then I'm like, okay. So I was like, realized at the time that's not the person to work with, because like we don't have that in our budget right now, especially if you can't guarantee me the results, right? Like, because the results that they were showing was already from established places trying to blow up even further. So of course they can translate, a couple $1,000 reel to increased customer coming in, because you're already, it's no different than McDonald's continuing to market aggressively. Do you think McDonald's really needs to do any more marketing? In a way, they're kind of self-sustaining, yet they're an animal, because you still see McDonald's ads everywhere. So, but I agree with you, because it's like, the startup guy, come on, your startup guy helping another startup guy, someone has to do it for free. It's like, and then get the
There's
ball rolling.
There's always like tit for tat deals, like when I was first starting, like I remember I came across this one girl that does photography, and I also came across this other girl that was like in the beauty industry, and like they were two of like, my very, very, very first clients. And I remember reaching out to them and I was like, hey, I started this new business, I was wondering like, would you let me create a website for you for free? And can I use it to market and all types? So like all you have to do is literally just pay the subscription for the website that actually like hosts it,
Yeah.
But like, to me, you're paying nothing. I'll do it for you for free. Get it done like within a week.
No, we're totally on the same page here.
Like, you see what I mean? So it's like tit for tat, and like for me doing that for them, they gave me free services. You see what I mean? So I got some photography work done for free. I got like a little bit of beauty stuff. Like hit the mic. I got a little bit of beauty stuff done for free. You see what I mean? So it's like tit for tat can be done at any given point. Like it doesn't even just have to be at the beginning. It could be like at any point.
Yeah.
But that's how you build relationships in business.
Exactly. Well, that's kind of what I did for you, right? Like that, like your the pod you shot out of the podcast room here. It's like, I saw what you're trying to do and everything like that. And then I because you were doing it a bit different anyway with your own equipment and everything. But I was like, I met you in the middle, like you did a 2-for-1 package basically. But I also I was going to piggyback off of the other thing you were talking about with confidence. It was like, I know I sound like woo woo when what I'm about to say, but it's like the older I get and the more experience I get and the more like life experience, I mean total life experience, and the more I do business and the more I take risks and overcome these hurdles, like my calmness and my ability to read energy, that's what the term I'm going to use here. It's like it's definitely hit a new level, because now I can really spot when someone talks confidently. I don't even go off words anymore. Because I'm like, hey, we already know 30 guys here can talk. They can talk like smooth too. I go off like feel now too, because I'm like, do I feel anxious energy coming from them while they talk? If I feel that, I'm like, hey, they're absolutely trying to convince themselves while they're trying to convince you. So it's
like trying to believe their own lies.
Yeah, or they're just new, right? Like I had this one guy, not going to name names, but he's in marketer and like talked great at first, and then got him like we did a meeting after we shot a podcast with him. But it's like
oh my God.
Yeah, no, but I've shot podcasts with multiple marketers now, so no one will know which one is who. But no, man, but the one guy, he just it's like once he was in the actual meeting, does very like not good proposal.
So you were kind of like, let me guess, like, did it seem like he just didn't really know what he was talking about?
He talked a big game, and then when it came time to set up the actual particulars, it was like nothing unique was brought to the table. And then he just kept talking, and he just kept talking, and then I could see literally his confidence diminishing, and you could feel his energy like diminishing. And then you can see the body language start, and then all of a sudden I'm like, you've never done this before. You said you've done like a bunch of these. you're absolutely exaggerated the hell out of your credentials here. So it was kind of like, okay, thank you, and
learning
then
moments.
yeah,
It's
he was super
definitely
young.
a huge learning moment for him.
And he's super young too. So like, I'm not that mad at like him doing that. I'm just curious. I reflect on myself. I'm like, if I didn't have that ability to feel energy, this guy might have sold me like whatever fuck he was trying to sell me, and he's obviously early in his sales game, if you will. So I mean, life experience is crucial too, and reading energy is crucial too, and going off feel. Because after a while, we're in a day and age, like especially with chat GTP. Like, anyone
people
can
just like try to memorize.
Yeah, anyone
like
can memorize a pitch.
Or
Yep, anyone can be an actor right now. Everyone's our actors, right? So that's that was just basically what I was kind of going off of that, and then the confidence. There's no shortcut around confidence. I've come to realize it can only come through getting good at doing stuff after you fucked up a bunch of times.
It's consistency and constant. Oh my god, I keep hitting the mic, and it's like constant practice and practice and practice. Like this is what people don't understand. Like I was actually going to mention the second part to my business, like where it comes to like actually helping people with their business. So I'm in network marketing. Okay, it is quite literally like in a nutshell the business of basically me helping customers become business owners. Okay. So it works within the trading realm in this sense, because basically what it is, you learn the skill of trading and investing, okay, through courses, through, trade alerts, all this type of stuff. Like we basically work with one of the world's leading educational platforms for trading, for learning, trading, and investing. Okay. So they provide the courses, they have the trade alerts, and the trade alerts like range anywhere between like from what I've seen recently, anywhere between like 70 to like 85% win rate. So like it varies obviously, but that's just what I've seen recently. So that's the thing. Like they have the trade alerts, they have the AI, like the artificial intelligence to like trade for you. They have all the Learn Live sessions where you actually go on a live Zoom call with an expert trader and you trade with them. So you like ask them questions, you see how they're making the trades. Like this platform, and it's the company that's literally like the only trading. They are literally the only trading platform that's publicly traded in the United States.
Okay.
So that being like that within itself already proves a lot, because like a lot of these platforms that you learn trading from, they're privatized and they can do whatever they want at any given point, but they're not required by law to actually show their books to the public. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that being said, I came into the industry, I wanted to learn trading and investing. I obviously bought a package and I learned from there to learn how to trade and invest. Eventually, I came across the business side of it, which was the network marketing, where like now I can actually help people become business owners in this and run their own teams and help other people. And then literally just like keep having this process go again and again and again until we're helping as many people as possible learn how to make money online. Because what I started to realize, especially when it came to making money online and creating an online business, is that 90% of people are so scared to do it, because to them, like, you have the people that think that the online world is way too like oversaturated, that they think that it's like that, like there's too many people doing it, that they're not going to make any money. There, you have those type of people who are scared of it because of that, but then you have the other people who think it's just like outright a scam. And then you have the people who do look at it as like, oh, this is a business opportunity, I can jump in on this.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm the one that thinks it's saturated, and I wouldn't necessarily say I'm the one that thinks it's a scam, but because it's not, investing's not a scam. You're still you're buying whatever stock, like, or you're trading currency or whatever. Like, but what I'm saying is, you know what I was about to say is not necessarily like tying into what you're saying. So I'm gonna actually retract my thought for a second here. Maybe I'll segue it back. But go on.
So basically, like in a nutshell, like anybody who wants to learn trading and investing from me, I guide them through this process and I help them answer any questions that they need. I help them with different strategies and whatnot, and we grow together. Now, if they want to help other people, which is completely up to them if they want to or not, because I can't force you to want to help people. I want to help people, so I do it. And naturally, I attract people who also want to do the same thing, because money is one thing, actually helping people is another.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that the foundations of running a proper business, there has to be some concern, at least some concern for the well-being of the people that you work with and your customers.
Of course.
You
But
see?
it means some
At least.
concern.
No,
Shouldn't it be
obviously,
total concern?
of course. But I'm saying that like there's a lot of businesses that only care about money.
the money. Yeah.
There's so many MLMs. There's so many pyramid schemes that only care about the money. They screw over all of their reps. They screw over all of their customers.
And then they use terminology like it's just business. I hate that fucking term.
I hate that term too.
It's like, and like so many people I know have adopted that, and I'm kind of like, yeah, but these same people I know are the same people that like literally cheat on the girlfriends, have no morals, and like, and then you know, and they're like not exactly happy, and then you know they look like they're trying to be happy or whatever, but they're not, and I don't know. I'm just sitting here like,
no, it's a sorry excuse to only give a shit about the money.
You're trying to justify being a selfish prick.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, but I also, I don't know, maybe there's another massive topic to segue into, but like almost all of these guys don't have a, I don't want to say belief in God because it's not that simple, but they have a foundation. They have an atheist approach to existence. They really believe that their consciousness was just however it happened, came into this body, and when you die, that consciousness dissipates into wherever. So they actually don't believe that there is more moral, ethics, consequences. So with their mentality that they only exist in this exact lifetime, then they justify, well, why help other people? Like they
what's
think,
the point? It's like we're all in it for ourselves. Like if it doesn't matter.
Like and then they point out that look at animals. Animals only get along because. Sorry.
I'm like remembering something. Like you're literally bringing up something. I remember having an argument with somebody about this that literally compares everything with like to animals. You know, as if human and beings, like humans and animals, like
still are on the same level. It
kind of hurts my brain.
Right. Yeah.
Carry on.
and but basically, like their justifications that an animal who has less intelligence but still has consciousness still only gets along with its own animals for the sake of its own survival. And I'm sitting there thinking like, I can literally, we can go TikTok right now and find, you'll see literally animals that are literally licking the other wounded animal to try to give it some kind of like life force when it's dying. Or like you'll see another animal do something actually kind where it like, I don't know, it just lays with another animal who's injured and try, you know, like my own cats, I saw him do it the other day. Like my one cat was sick and then the other one, they were fighting earlier. And then he was literally he kind of like curled up beside him, was kind of like, you okay? And like, and they're like meowing with each other. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, how do you explain that, dude? You know, like, so, but again, most people I know who have that self-serving mentality, they're not backed by any greater, they don't believe in a greater thing. Like, and you know, and
anything above them, above anything else.
Yeah,
it's like this is it.
Yeah, like I believe in God. You know, obviously everyone's definition of God is different from one another, but like I just know that. Well, it's not just I know. I have a mushroom here for a reason because I do psychedelics from time to time, and it was like, it's like the like whatever I saw in that little experience. It shows like this consciousness you speak of. That thing is it's more grandiose than you can ever understand, and trust me, you trying not to understand that thing, and we can switch the terminology between God and consciousness like interchangeably, but that's going to bite you later, man, because of the amount of bad karma that you're building up. Now that same person also argued, I don't believe there's karma. I'm like, you're just selfishly, I know you're not tapping into that side. You're muffling you're literally muffling your conscience.
Can I ask you something?
To self-justify selfish behavior.
Did you have this like was this a podcast episode? Did you have with this person?
No. These are many people I know.
Oh, because I was gonna say like, did you really sat there for that long like to talk? Bro, I can't even imagine like actually sitting there in front of someone trying to have this conversation with it, because it would outright like the thing is like
this is what I do. I have long crazy conversations. That's why I segued into my job now. Like I have this ability to just get into someone's head. Like we start talking and then they'll literally cancel their next meeting or whatever, or like call it, or like because they want to finish the thought because no one else in their life engages in this kind of dialogue with them.
And I think, you know what, because they don't have people challenging them that often, they just keep thinking that they're right.
Yeah.
You see, and like, how can you think that you're wrong when nobody's challenged you on it? You know, like for me, I have very thin patience. That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't even like, I don't even know how I would react, because the thing is like, and you're actually not the first person that actually told me that they had like a whole experience with psychedelics.
Oh, yeah.
The second person that literally told me like they literally had like a whole like life-changing experience with God
it
when
doesn't,
they were on shrooms.
I will say though, it doesn't last. That's what I noticed, because even like I took what's called the hero dose, which is 7 grams of mushrooms, which is a tremendous amount. I was high for like 17 hours. I was literally talking to my cat, and I was also knew what it was like to be a woman, knew what it was like to be a man,
Oh my
knew what it was like to be a kid again, knew what it was like to be every race, every animal. Like I essentially merged like my whatever happened there at a scientific level was total complete detachment from the individual that is Shawn. Like it was literally they call it an ego death, and there I literally was merged with everything, and I saw how I felt how everything's actually like where it should be, but it also is not where it needs. Anyway, like I run out of words sometimes to describe what I fully experienced, but I do know that.
I mean, I don't blame you. Like experiences like that, like how do you even find the words to like explain them?
I don't know, but I just know that I was very empathetic after. Like I was already empathetic, but I was even more empathetic, and I know now, like I wouldn't constitute myself as smart, like I'm smart in some things per se, but I'm like I know that I'm not special, and I know that most people, like kind of going off what you just said, they choose not to try to learn more about that side of their own mind. They just rather continue believing their line and fortifying it, and then
it's
just
like
continue to be selfish.
confirmation bias in the sense,
Quite
because
literally,
like the thing is, especially with human beings, they don't like to be wrong. And it is very tough on the ego to be wrong and to have to apologize, depending on how you look at it. Like for me personally, growing up, like me and my siblings would always fight, and I would come up with a whole new story just to avoid apologizing as a kid. You know what I mean? Because like as a kid, it's like, you do something wrong and everybody looks at you in a bad way. Like it's not a good feeling, like you don't like that. But as you get older, like the thing is, I grew up in sales. Okay. Like my very first job, like my first actual job was sales. And the amount of rejection I had to go through and the amount of growth I had to force myself to accept to even like continue this path was insane, because like I really had to actually come to terms with myself and understanding the fact that like it's actually okay to be wrong. Like a customer would like ask me something, or they would give me shit about something or whatever, and I had to learn that it was actually okay to be wrong.
But what if what you were wrong about will rock your entire foundation? Do you still do you choose?
Are we talking about more so in like a religious belief?
I don't even.
Or like
what I mean is
moral?
like when someone doesn't like to be wrong, it's because like they are relying on themselves so much. So if they're wrong, that means they are like their own judgment.
Like question everything.
Yeah, then they're like, well, fuck. Like then like I really believe half the homeless out there, I think, have been their ego and self-confidence has been destroyed. So now that's why they just resort to no dignity left, because they're like, well, they hate themselves is the term, right? Because they've been wrong enough, but who knows? They probably also have loads of trauma and then drug addiction, and then neurochemistries are fucked up because of the drug, like so many factors. But definitely to allow yourself to keep failing and not picking yourself up is a direct result of you losing self-confidence, right? So then that's why I think the ego, it like not accepting yourself to be wrong a lot of times, it's a defense mechanism. Like I get what they're doing, but also that also means they didn't take the risks to put themselves into the like that's where sports come in, right? Like I notice a lot of people who try to bring people down, like a lot of them, not all, a lot of them, you start to realize they never played sports. And they never tried to play sports. They're not in tune with their bodies. They're not in shape. Men and women both. Like but because sports is the ultimate self humbler. Like I remember thinking,
it really is.
I remember thinking, oh man, I'm super awesome at jiu-jitsu and wrestling, kickboxing, whatever. And then you go fight a guy, and then he kicks your ass, right? Yeah. And then right there you kind of lose that self confidence, and you're like, wow, I was wrong. You're not wrong, dude. You just weren't as good as that guy yet. Now you train, right?
That's the beauty of sports. And you know what? Like it's something that, you know what? Like when you come across somebody, especially as an entrepreneur, like a lot of the a lot of the things that you learn being in sports, being in sales, getting rejected over and over, getting your ass kicked a billion times, but still coming up, still going back at it, still trying again. You know what I mean? Like those characteristics, like it's quite literally what builds your foundation. And a lot of people try to cheat that process. And it pisses me right off because there's so many people that, you know, come to me about trading and investing. They just want me to take their money, double it,
do it for them.
And do it for them. And it's like, the thing is, what pisses me off the most about it is
do you
like,
make good money doing it like that?
Well, first of all, I don't do it because
Okay.
one, I'm not going to be responsible for your money.
Right.
Second of all, I get really annoyed when somebody tries to cheat the process, especially as somebody who's going through that process. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. And don't get me wrong, okay? That doesn't mean that I have any like bad feelings towards anyone who has a head start. I don't care. You know what I mean? You have your journey, I have mine. But if you try to use me as somebody who is ahead of you in a particular path, because I have experience in that, if you try to use me as a quick fix to your lack of whatever, you know, like let's just say you try to use me as like a quick fix to you not.
Yeah, you don't.
What is the word? Like my English.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I get
you. See what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's like
you don't want them to take a shortcut, not put in the work, and then get the rewards and have no humility from it.
But like, it's not even just about that. It's about the fact that you're using me to cut corners.
Yeah.
But I don't want to help you cheat the system because you're not going to learn shit from it.
Yeah.
Because even if you do get the rewards, of course, I want everyone to make money. I want everyone to be happy. I'm more than willing to take a couple hours out of my day to have a pep talk with my students. I know it shouldn't really go on for that long, but it's like, I don't have a sense of like, oh, my time is so valuable that I can't just hand it off to like my students just whenever they want it. Like, no, if my students have a particular link that they can use to book with me that's specifically for my coaching, where they have time for, like, they book time with me and all we do is talk about exactly where they're at and what they need to do to get to where they want to be, but also understanding the state of mind that they're in. Because yes, money and recognition and all this type of stuff is good and all, but it also depends on the person that you are when you're getting all this stuff. You see what I mean? Because like, I can help you make money.
You become a colossal asshole. Yeah, you don't want to, But,
exactly. I don't want to know that I breeded that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
But
or breeding. It's an awkward word, but whatever. You know what I mean?
You created that.
I don't want to mentor a piece of shit that has money.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like, that shouldn't come from me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you don't want to help evil, essentially. And,
exactly.
But the unfortunate reality is most people who have that mentality that I was talking about earlier with no morals, they will be a snake in the grass and do that and use and abuse, right? I've met so many of those people right now. It's like, it's horrible. It's like
you really got to set boundaries with those ones, or just completely cut them off.
Or sometimes you can't cut them off, man, because like they're everywhere. They're the next gatekeeper to the next level. So you have to go revolutionize the game. We're talking very cryptic here. Again, that's what I mean by we need examples, but also I don't know.
I mean, we get it.
Yeah.
I know it's just really tough to like explain it. Yeah.
And a lot of people never will, because a lot of people just, their reality is, I go to my 9 to 5. I will do this until I'm 65.
Retire and die.
And then retire, die. And like, but they're like, but at least I didn't have to take that risk. Ooh, like, you know, I still have a house.
At least I didn't lose anything. At least now I'm traveling at 65 years old with a pension of a couple grand a month. Like,
but a lot of people are absolutely comfortable with that because of their fear. But
to each their own.
To each their own, man. Because some people aren't built for pressure.
They're not.
And like, you don't want to force someone into a fucking panic attack. Like, you know, so.
You know, I actually had a situation like that before, and like I was trying to mentor somebody, and the thing is like their pressures, and this is actually where I learned more about myself as a leader, okay, because there was something I had to learn along the way, because like I actually work the best under pressure. In fact, I work the best. What kind of
pressure though?
Time pressure, family pressure, client pressure. Like if I have pressure coming from all ends, I actually get the most amount of work done. Like, it's actually insane.
What about?
Because if I have no pressure at all whatsoever and I'm just vibing, I tend to get quite lazy. You see what I mean? Right. I really have to discipline myself.
Everyone needs a timeline, a deadline. It's almost good that a lot of rich people are actually, their money's actually tied up. Then any second it can go sideways, because that's what keeps you sharp, right?
Yeah.
It's just like fighters. Like once they get comfortable, they start losing because they don't train as hard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it keeps you on your toes, and it brings in new ways of doing things, new ways of learning things, new ways of thinking different things. Like it's insane. Like it's always something new, and like I remember like one time I was mentoring someone, and it was like, and again, because I work very well under pressure and I like it.
You like it?
I like it because I know it brings out it brings out my best performance actually when I'm under pressure. So that being said, I know I can multitask well, and I know that I've been able to prove to myself, like I know what I'm able to get done within a certain amount of time. So like I know where I'm at. However, when I started mentoring people, and not even like just in trading or anything like that, like even let's just say it was like friends that were like doing business or whatever, and they came to me for advice because like they've never done anything along the lines of entrepreneurship before. Is their first time, they want some advice. So let's just say, I'm giving them advice on that or whatever, but let's just say, for example, like a client yells at them, but it's nothing. It's like maybe like, why isn't this done kind of thing. And I like, this person would quite literally like break down, but to them that's a pressure. But I had to actually, realize it for myself that like my definition of pressure doesn't match everybody else's definition. Like everybody has their own definition of pressure, and some can work well and some don't, because I've seen people who, they come across pressure and they break down. They can't, because it's just too much coming from all different sides to them. It's like they literally
have an anxiety attack.
They do, and they shut down. They actually shut down, and they just disappear.
And do you feel bad about that?
The thing is,
I know I do. Like I'm like, oh man, you were never that guy. Like you should, championship fighters per se, get them together to fight for the championship. Don't get the rookie who doesn't even really want to be there. Like everyone has a role, like some people just, they're like, they love, I don't know, like someone out there loves running a laundry store, and that's all they want to do. Like I don't know, I'm using a random example. Like, so we shouldn't be trying to get the people who don't want that. It's that my main thing is, don't be complaining if you want to be in that game, but you're not there because you're not willing to put in the work.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that 100%.
But if you don't want to be there, then no. Like I don't want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you do have the rare instance. Like I agree with that 100%. Like if you don't actually want to be there, and you're just, like trying it out, whatever, and then like, shit happens and, you just can't take it, like get off the court if you're not ready to play. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
However, there's also that other side of it where it's like newbies. You see what I mean? The newbies, they really want to try. They have a lot of energy. They're so excited. They really want to get at it, But they might have just like, underestimated what it's really like, because everybody else make it look
no idea.
Yeah, exactly. They have no idea, but also people around them make it look easy. So they jump in and then they realize, oh, maybe it's like a little harder than I thought. And some people take it well, and they can pick themselves up and like keep going. Other people, they shut down. Now for the people that shut down, I think for the most part, like I don't feel sorry for them, because I do give them points for trying. At least you tried something new, because 90% of people don't. Now in this case, it's all about whether or not they try again. If they don't try again, that's where I feel sorry for you, because I'm like, the first time is always the hardest.
You're gonna fuck up the first time, yeah.
The first time is always the hardest. And anything good, anything bad, because it's unfamiliar territory.
Oh, yeah.
You do the first time of anything.
You're guessing with your best, and you're guessing with the tools you have.
Exactly.
You might be way
and sometimes
off.
You don't even have tools. You know what I mean? You're literally like walking in blind. But the first time to everything is going to be the hardest. But the second time becomes easier. And then the third time, and the fourth time. And the next thing you know, like,
that's when you have confidence.
Exactly. Now you've built confidence. Now this is actually like, this.
But that's,
you see what I mean?
Not but.
So that's why I feel sorry for those people, because it's like, one, you've wasted that because you've already done the hard part. Go do it again. It's going to be less bad. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? The hardest part is always, the first time is always the hardest part. But that's the thing. Like, that's why I feel bad, because it's just like, it's a waste to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it is a realization that if you're not willing to pick yourself up and try it again, you're not going to get anywhere. Because yes, you can have an accountability partner. I mentor like a few dozen people. And yes, I'm their accountability partner, but it's like I'm not that person that's going to force you to get up when you don't want to. I'll be there to help you, but you're not going to find me and try to force you into
Sometimes you need to force them, though. As an example,
that's only if I know that they want it. Because there's some people who really just they really just want me as a quick fix. They don't do any of the work and they rely on me 110%. You can't, because you're never going to be independent.
Yep, you got to teach a man to fish versus
exactly.
The example I was going to say about sometimes you got to force someone. As an example, like again, we're getting examples here to actually draw out so people understand. So there's a very famous wrestler named Ric Flair. I don't know if you know who he is. You're only
sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was world famous for all the 80s, 90s, 2000s, like world famous. Like your folks don't know who Ric Flair is, okay? But Ric Flair, at the very beginning of his journey, when he was getting into wrestling, he quit. He literally quit, because the guy who was training him, Vern Gagne, he was like an ex-wrestler who was an Olympian, I think Vern Gagne was Olympian. I could be wrong, but anyway, Ric Flair joined his training camp. And their training camp was insane. You had to be something like 1,000 squats, 500 push-ups, carrying another guy, like holding his legs while he bear crawls up stairs in an apartment building. Like it was that level of fitness. And then
I kind of want to try that.
It sounds like one hell of a fucking workout. But at the same time, like the program Rick was in at the time, like a couple wrestlers got kicked out because they literally just didn't even come close to having whatever it was, and Vern Gagne put him through this crazy workout to test out who wants to be here. And then Rick actually didn't finish the workout. He couldn't, his legs seized up after the 500th squat. He couldn't do 1,000. His push-ups stopped at 300. He was kind of out of shape anyway coming into this. And then he quit.
Out of shape and still did 300 push-ups.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he quit. And then Vern Gagne actually went back and found him in a pool hall because the next day was practice. He didn't show up. So he tracked him down and then was literally found him in a pool hall. And then he was even then leave me the fuck alone. I don't want to do this. I changed my mind. I'm going to go back to insurance, which is what he was doing before. And then, but Vern was no, you have something special. And he ends up becoming Ric Flair, by the way.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, so that was a time that Rick even said, that guy literally, carried him back to his car, scolded him for, wasting his potential, got him back in there. And even then, Rick still said he did the workouts and did the training and still wanted to quit for the whole week before finally he had a breakthrough where he's like, man, I actually am good at this. I was just so out of shape. And as he got in better shape, then he saw what he could do. And then he literally became fucking Ric Flair, which is the most famous wrestler of all time. So that's for instance where when you're saying, I don't want to help someone who doesn't want to be helped, it's but if you see some potential,
that's what
you might need to help them because they have already quit on their own potential in their head. But that's where sometimes it's up to, as you say, God, or because God will go work through you to make you go to that person to get them to go do something, right? Yeah. So that's an example I was just trying to whip out here.
No, I actually 100% I agree with you. That's why I said before that I am not gonna force someone to do something if they don't want to do it for themselves. They're looking for a quick fix. You see what I mean? As an entrepreneur, you will be able to identify when somebody else has it. You'll know because people talk all the time. But when you sit in front of somebody and you're talking, and you can see their eyes glow. You can see how they're talking from their heart. You can see how they, the way that they speak about their goals and what they want. You know that they have it. They have that drive. They're have passionate. That energy. They're going to do it. Now the question is how. You see what I mean? How are they going to do it? Now, in this case, I've had people who join my team that have that energy. And there's been times where they're oh, I don't know if this is for me. I would like to be making a little bit more. I'm just, I don't really know what to do. So I said, okay, you know what? Let's game plan. I have time right now. Do you? Perfect. We'll sit down and game plan because I'm not going to let you quit on yourself when you've already made the decision. You already know that you want it. You already told me that you want it. And you told me that this was you told me all your goals. And this is just step 1. If you're going to quit at step 1, what makes you think you're going to get to step 10 or step 100 or keep going? You see what I mean? you can't quit. And here's what I always tell my team members. Don't ever quit on anything, because the second you quit once, especially on something that you so like cared about, you want to do or whatever, the second you quit once, it will make it easier for you to quit again and again and again. And that's where you almost make a habit of quitting, like trying something new. Before it even has a chance to actually succeed, you go, no, this is not for me, go and try something else. Maybe after a couple weeks, no, it's not for me, go try something else. And it's like constantly jumping through all these things and quitting on all these different things before you even gave it a real chance, that it's like you're not going to succeed with anything, because success is consistency, patience, and time. You know what I mean? Like, you can't expect to be successful in something after giving it your most minimal effort for such a short period of time. It doesn't go the way that you want it to. And it's like, okay, well, if you're not going to put in the time or the energy, you can't expect the same result doing, like, okay, how do I word this? You basically cannot expect the type of result that you would get putting in 1,000 hours of work. You can't expect that same result only putting in like 10 hours. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Of course.
If you don't do the work, don't expect that result.
It's like working out. Oh, I worked out once, I don't have a six pack.
Yeah.
Like, no shit. You
exactly.
got
like,
do.
You work out abs
you have
like
to
once
do
a
it.
month, and it's like
you have to do it. Well, one, you got to know if you even have the schematic to have the six pack, but like it's like but you have to do it to the point where your body has morphed its habits. It's literally like cellular habits to metabolizing food right away, so you don't get fat, and then like your muscles are strong, so that you can like lift more. Like, it's the same.
It's a process
again, and it relates to sports.
Exactly.
Like, most people who don't use their body, I noticed, kind of like don't have the same. They carry that lack of understanding with their mind into everything else. But Eman, like, now we're segueing back to the beginning.
Yeah.
That client, like, again, can we go back to her specific example of where you were helping her with her business or his or her business? Like, what was the business again in the gist?
Yeah.
Was it investing? Was it online business? And then you said that they ended up like, you said 2 weeks in, they were like unhappy or whatever, but they never let you know. Like, what was that business again, and why did that client again like take 2 weeks to essentially let you know, I'm failing right now and I'm kind of not trying to get better? Like,
okay, so here's what happened. Okay, so basically, like, it was basically through starting their own business through the network marketing, and obviously, talking to people, trying to show them the product. Actually, because the thing is, like, I don't even look at it as like reselling a product. I look at it as like quite literally selling a skill. Or not even selling, providing a skill to help others create an online income. This is something that they're going to use for the rest of their lives, that they can actually use to put themselves in a whole different financial situation. So it's not even sales to me. It's like, I'm quite literally giving you the key to a second income. Take it or leave it. You know what I mean? Like, if you want it, I'll help you. If you don't, then you don't, like, it doesn't matter. So the thing is, like, with her specifically, she was, trying to move into that. And, before she moved into it, she wanted to really get the trading down first. You can, if you can be a master trader if you want to before you do this, or you could be average and
when
still
you say
make your
trading,
money.
You mean stock trading, right?
No, I mean Forex, binary, crypto. Because the thing is, stock trading is more long term. Anyone can buy stocks.
Yeah.
But actual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you hold stocks.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about Forex and binary trading, which is
that's totally out of my realm, by
the way. You see what I mean? So it's a lot faster. You see what I mean? Like, you make money like every single day. Like, the market fluctuates like crazy.
But it's ultimately about buying at a lower price, selling at a higher price, right?
Well, it can work both ways.
Yeah.
Because you can make money when it goes up, but you can also make money when it goes down.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
But you still have to buy at a certain and sell at an upper, right? Like, that doesn't change.
So basically, like, you buy at a low point, you sell at a higher point.
Yeah.
And it's like basic like rules.
Yeah.
Buy low, sell high.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So that's pretty much how like Forex and binary and whatnot work. Like, they're all on the foreign exchange market, so they do have like, there's different ways of trading. But long story short, it's like a whole thing. But long story short, with her, she was very keen on basically like becoming a master trader before helping anybody. Okay, because one, obviously she wanted to be able to like produce results, to actually show people that she can do it, which is obviously how you should do it. But you don't have to be a master trader to do that. You can easily, make money by being an average trader, or being like a basic, being a new trader, because the way that it's taught and the ways that you can make money from it, it's actually like a lot more simpler than most people think. But because it just looks so easy to other people, it's like a red flag that it's too easy. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
You know, when you
seems like a
see
scam
something,
when it's too
yeah,
easy. Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
you know, that saying, like, too good to be true. And it's like, that outlook is exactly the reason why you'd probably never get rich in your life, because it's like, if you're so afraid of opportunities because they just look too good, you know what I mean? It goes both ways. Yes, don't get me wrong. There are some opportunities that, if it, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, it might set some type of alarm in us that it's like, okay, it's like way too good. You know, maybe I should do a little bit more digging. But don't shut yourself off to it completely. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people, they see something that seems like too good to be true, and it's like, nope, scam. Next. And it's like, they just keep doing that over and over. But y'all don't realize that with the internet and everything, with the knowledge that we're given, it's actually this easy. At this point, the hard part is staying consistent, actually putting in the work, believing in yourself, and utilizing your resources. But anyways, aside from that, I went off track again. I am so sorry.
No,
But okay,
go.
so basically with her, like I said, she wants to become a master trader. Now, she was making profits, but she wasn't like a master, obviously. Like, becoming a master takes a long time. And I told her, I was like, you don't have to become a master trader. Even just by using the alerts, like, basically, alerts are like text messages from expert traders, because the education platform has a group of expert traders that we leverage, and we pay a monthly fee for those expert traders to literally send us text messages on what to invest in. Okay. So it's quite literally copy and pasting. And that's what makes it so easy for anybody to learn it, because you don't have to be a master trader to make money. You can just copy and paste and make money. So that's what I was explaining to her. Now, I got her practicing the copy and pasting. And, you know, it was, I had to go to Toronto for a little bit, and I was busy, and it probably was maybe like a week and a half, 2 weeks since I checked in. So I checked in and I said, like, hey, how's everything going? Update me. And she ended up telling me, like, yeah, I only made like a few $100. It's not really where I want to be. You know, I'm wanting to obviously like get to this level, and like, I just, like, I'm not really sure like whether or not it's like worth my time, kind of thing. And the thing is, like, I know this girl. So I'm like, I better not be hearing like these words coming out of your mouth right now. Like, are you joking? Because I know her, and I know how she is, and I know that she has a drive to really create something for herself. But she has a very similar problem as me, and this is something that I'm still working on as an entrepreneur. But patience. You see what I mean? Like, I always want everything done, like, you know, right now.
No, I'm the same way.
Patience is honestly one hell of a test, but that's the thing. So she was hoping that kind of like by getting into this, she'll be able to quit her job very quickly. And when she showed me her profits, she made like $500 off like a couple trades, you know, and this is USD. So she's just like, it's good, but it's like not enough for me to quit my job. And I was like,
you thought you were going to quit your job in 2 seconds? Like, you know,
that's literally what I said. I was like,
that's literally like some people I know being like, hey, why isn't your podcast viral yet? I'm like, oh, you think it was you? Oh, am I just supposed to become Joe Rogan overnight? Like,
exactly.
You know, like every minute, I think there's 1,000 new YouTube channels starting up. Yeah. So that triples like my whole focus. You know, like I am patient with this. I know it's a long game.
You have to force yourself.
I just consistently make podcasts. I make clips from them, and I'm growing my channel like that. I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm not. I don't have some kind of shock value type thing to, you know, like because at the same time I have to keep it real. Like I'll play the game to a certain extent, but like not where I don't feel comfortable anymore. Because after a while, I don't want to be a fake internet personality like the Paul brothers, and then end up fucking having to keep that persona on 24/7. That sounds exhausting. But your friend, it just sounded hyper impatient. Like
no, but the thing is, like, because, and here's the thing, when she said that, like, right away I was like, listen, like, it's gonna take time for you to make a full-time income off of this. If you want,
take years, you know?
It could. You know what I mean? Like, trading is a skill that you can definitely make side income from. It can definitely be a second source of income. You see what I mean? But for it to become your only source, I told her, like, it's gonna take a while. But guess what? If you want to start making a full-time income online passively, get on the business side with me. And stop worrying about being a master trader. Stop worrying about this. Like, it's like putting roadblocks in front of yourself that you don't need there. You're putting these preconditions for yourself that have no reason to be there just because you have some type of fear that if you're not a master trader, people won't take you seriously. Absolutely not. I'm so transparent on Instagram. I'm like, you guys, I copy and pasted a trade before I went to the gym. I just finished my workout. It's been an hour and a half. I made 200 USD in an hour and a half doing nothing. I was working out. You see what I mean? So that is where, like, I was telling her, I was like, listen, there's a way to play this in a way that it does allow you to get what you want, but it also helps you learn a skill that you can help others learn as well. And if money is what you're looking for, then and if it's like quitting your job, that's what you're looking for, join the business side. You see what I mean? Join the business side, or spend as much as you time perfecting trading. You can do either or, but trading is going to take some time. You see what I mean? Obviously, network marketing takes time too, but network marketing, once you get to a certain level, it's completely passive. Like for me, I'm at a level now where like I'm in control of my time. I'm able to book a trip to Japan for a month, and you see what I mean? Like I'm not worried about it. I just go, and I'm not worried whether or not, you know, my stuff's going to get paid for. I'm not worried about whether or not I'll be able to eat or anything or spend money while I'm there. You see what I mean? And like that's the type of level that I want to get other people to, because the thing is, money is the one thing that makes the world go round. It is the one thing that like forces us into situations that we majority of the time we don't want to be in, just because we need it, whether it's to pay bills. Like we deal with really shitty bosses, really shitty coworkers. We deal with, do you have any idea how long it's been since I dealt with rush hour traffic? I remember I literally booked a nail appointment. I think it was at like 3 one time, like maybe I think it was like 2 months ago. I booked a nail appointment for maybe 3 o'clock. It was my first time going into rush hour traffic, because I haven't worked a job since like last year, 2022. Okay, so for me to be stuck in rush hour traffic, I'm just looking at all these people just stuck in their cars, and I think to myself, you guys deal with this every single day. Every single day. In the morning, you sit in traffic for an hour before you get to work, and then when you're done work, you sit in traffic again for like another, like I'm just like, to me it's like and you know what? I used to be one of those people, but because it's just been so long since I had to do it, when I got back into it again, I was like, I can't imagine doing this every single day. I can't even believe I used to do it. You know what I mean? And it's like, and it's crazy to me how so many of these rather miserable things have become so normalized. To other people, it's like, oh, whatever. But to me, because I distanced myself from it for so long and I got myself out of that rat race, when I look back at it, I'm like, this is what everyone's used to, and this is what everyone's okay with. Like, it's actually kind of disheartening, and it actually amplifies my need to help more people, because I'm like, you can't convince me that sitting in rush hour traffic is fun. And you can't convince me that sitting around doing a job that you hate simply because you're afraid of paying, like afraid of not being able to pay your rent, or you can't convince me that working for a shitty boss, just, you see what I mean? Like, you can't convince me of any of these things that makes the money worthwhile.
Oh yeah, no, I did end up working energy for 6 years, and yeah, it was like I was making a decent salary that allowed me to, you know, buy my condo there, not outright, like a mortgage, but but you know, it's like, but I actually was completely fucking depressed, yeah, towards the end of my career there, like the misery hit a peak. I remember like 24/7, I didn't feel good. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. When I worked out, I felt good. On the weekend, when I drank with my friends, I felt good. But I remember 24/7, I'm like, I don't feel good. Like, and then I didn't realize, like, oh wow, I actually have depression now. And then I found out it's from that doing. Because I never cared about the job. Once, like, the moment I sat in that office and I did my first contract thing that I do, I was like, this was a mistake. Because I was like, I just realized, I'm like, I'm not into this at all. I can't believe this is what I have to do. I can't believe someone monitors my computer and says, get off Facebook. And, you know, like, I'm like, holy, like, and I remember I did that for like 6 years. And then, yeah, it played its role, because, you know, like, I made the money I needed, but deep down, I always knew, I was like, if I don't pursue this podcast business idea that I had in the back of my head, and, you know, and then my partner wanted to open his own restaurant. He was primarily the restaurant idea guy, and I had the podcast idea. And then We
No,
merged it with two
that's
more.
amazing.
Yeah, we merged it with two more partners originally. That's why it's called Kaks, because I'm the S in Kaks. Cass is the K.
Oh.
And we had two more partners, but it just
Yeah.
ended up being me and Cass. But it's like I have no regrets now about making that move. Like it's because I'm happy. I'm actually happy. That weird feeling inside's gone.
Yeah, that's
I'm doing what I'm passionate about. I'm continuing to grow it,
Yeah.
right? Like meeting new people like you, like-minded people. But I will say the amount of pressure I do face every day, it is, I don't expect most people to ever want to go through this.
And that's why most people don't.
They don't. Like, I mean, the amount of pressure we do have is quite insane.
Of course. Because
yeah.
if you don't put in the work, if you don't constantly show up every single day, you don't have a business.
And my mind can't rest.
Exactly.
My mind cannot. I've gotten comfortable being uncomfortable because I don't ever get to rest. Like, because my mind is like, this is how I provide for my fiance and like on my future family. This is how Cass provides for his family, and
it's all or nothing.
And and like, just quite frankly, like we're all dialed in as far as our assets go. So like, it's make or break. It's this or go bankrupt, really. But at the same time, my thought was like, well, if I don't take this chance, and like the end result is like failing and getting bankrupt, it's like, but I'm like, but it's either that or working forever in that fucking office like that I hate. And so it's like you kind of have no choice in life. You're gonna realize you're gonna hit a point where you either just kind of accept that you don't get to feel that next tier of happiness, because you won't if you're truly not pursuing your passions.
Yeah. And a lot of people think, you know what, that they have to quit their job to do this type of stuff, like, and they're just not ready for that step. And I'm like, no, you know what I mean? Like the best way to actually go about entrepreneurship is literally have a job that pays for your liabilities, and then you have extra income that you can go put towards another project. You work on that project when you're not at work. Obviously, you know, it's going to be more work, but that's the thing. Like, you cannot expect extraordinary results with minimal effort. You see what I mean?
Everyone's like,
they just don't want to put in the work.
Well, they also don't want to feel like uncomfortable. What I mean by that is, like, there's 24 hours in a day, right? They always say you got to eat 3 times in that 24 hours. You got to sleep 8. Let's say you average 8. And then of that remaining, so again, 24 hours in a day, 8 goes to sleep. Let's say 1 hour goes to getting ready in the morning. Okay. So now you're down to 15 hours left in the day. Okay. Then say it's an hour each time to eat and clean up after eating. So like breakfast, lunch, dinner. Now you're down to 12 hours a day. And they're saying, okay, but
work out for an hour.
Yep. Fitness. Let's throw fitness in there. Okay. And then actually let's take another hour out of like post fitness, which might be like,
just relaxing, shower,
whatever, like getting your protein shake, whatever. Like, now you're left with 10. And then they're saying like, okay, but I need an hour to commute, Now you're done. Now you got a whole day. My whole day's full. I can't do anything. I'm like, well, this is the reality of my situation right now as an entrepreneur. My sleep is not 8. It's 4 or 5. Okay. Sometimes it's 8 on the day I can fit 8, and then it's back to 4 or 5. So now I've freed up 3. Oh man, but you must not feel good. You're right. I don't feel good. But again, there's only 24 hours a day. Someone's like, oh, you're 3 meals. I'm like, I eat one big one at one point in a day. So my meal is actually done in 1 hour. Okay. The rest of the day, I'm basically fasting. Okay. So now I saved another 2 hours, right? And then it's like, oh, you work out for 1 hour, and sometimes the workout's half an hour. Like, when you're in this grind, like, some things have to be sacrificed.
Of course.
So training might only be half an hour one day. Maybe the other day is 2 hours, right? But and then it's like the commute. I set up so I live next door. You know, so
that's the thing. Like, so, you put more money towards the things, or you put more time towards the things that make life more convenient, because time becomes your superpower.
Yeah, exactly. So then it's like, now I freed up essentially for myself 12 hours a day to work, and that's what I'm doing. Like podcasting, editing, bartending, like, so like, people they have to realize it's like, they don't want to sacrifice feeling like good, or not good, not feeling
right
like
now.
Not feeling like shit. The reality is, everyone's chasing success feels like shit physically, like you're tired, but that's what you have to do for at least, I don't know, many years, until you don't,
for a while,
and then you're set up into more your situation. Where,
and like, even when you're successful, you know what I mean? Because like, for me, I don't even think I'm here yet. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I've established some foundation for myself, but I'm in my head, I'm at the very beginning. The way, like, where I see myself, like, just 5 years from now, 10 years from now, like to me, it's like I always keep myself super humble, because it's like, despite the amount of years that I've already put into like so much, I still have too much of a ways to go. And I'm young, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like everybody's journey is so different, and everybody their starting point is different too. But everybody needs to understand that if they want something that's not conventional, they have to put in the unconventional work.
Yeah, that's it.
That's literally just how it is.
And mostly what that means is feeling like shit.
It is.
And people don't want to feel like
delayed gratification. Feel like shit now to feel amazing for the rest of your life later. But not even later, like 65.
Yeah, no, but not even, like, the mentality changes even further from that, because the reality is this: the minute you let your foot off the pedal, someone else has their foot on the pedal.
Unless you have somebody under you that has.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like you can't just say, okay, I'm gonna take 10 years off from hustling and go lay on a beach. I swear, like, your skills actually diminish quite quick. Like, of course. I think the mentality I have now, like I was telling my girl about this, but because she's like what's the end game here? Work super hard and, you know, like, go through these hurdles and then not work from 40 and up. And I'm like, no, like the reality is this is the pace I keep for the rest of my life. It's just that I will have I'll take a month off here and then be back in the grind. I'll take a month off here and be back in the grind. Like, those months though are gonna be so quality. You know, like you're going to Japan for a month. It's like, when I get my chance to do stuff like that, like, those months are gonna be so quality that they're gonna recharge me into the game again. Because like, I just know the world. It's not even about being competitive. It's that the world changes so fast. It's kind of what you have to do.
You have to stay on your feet, or you're gonna fall behind.
And not only fall behind, like, you're gonna literally have no money, and, like, it's like you're gonna be broke by 50 and then tired and out of shape, and, like, this is the reality. That's why my only thing I tell, like, I don't have any kids, but people who have, like, kids, I'm like, you know, it's like I'm like really, really take care of their childhood, because if you do it right, 10 and up, it should be game time for the rest of their life. Like, because you're the kid, the precious time is till you're 10. That's childhood. Make sure they have no trauma there. But then 10 and up, they need to get exposed to how shit really is, because otherwise you're gonna raise a bunch of pansies, and, like, and like, you know, like, a lot of people in your age range, no offense, are like, they're complete wussies that can't handle any stress, and, like, I can see why you basically I think that you don't really hang out with people, like, much in your age range, because
I'm the youngest within my friend group.
Exactly, because you're not the same mentality, you know, like, you can. And but again, that comes from the chip on your shoulder due to the shit you went
I do all of this because I'm just pissed off. So.
I don't know. Well, maybe, but you do love it. We also love it, right?
Of course.
Okay, Eman, we can talk for hours, you know. So obviously, I would look forward to doing another podcast with you in the future, whether it's on your show or my show.
We'll do my show next.
For sure. I'd be honored to have you invite me on. You know,
of course, absolutely.
Yep. Eman's work will be on the show notes there, and definitely this isn't the last I've heard of you. I don't think so. So
I think we still have a lot of things to really get off our chest.
Exactly. Okay. Any closing statements there? Or?
No, thank you so much for having me on. I honestly had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the time here.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, everyone.